the corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys, Joe, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the war field.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Cash and Props with Jason Dunn and the Dash Brothers. Guys, last week, it's a short week here. I mean, we're coming in the day of the game, so not much time to research and do stuff, but luckily when you're playing the worst defense in the league, the research just like pops right at you.
That's for sure. That's for sure, man. You know what? And the thing is, we know it's the worst defense in the league. They're getting beat up everywhere, but we understand this week, divisional game, it doesn't matter to them. All that matters right now is right there in Arrowhead playing against the Chiefs, and they're going to do everything in their power to make sure they just rain on the parade, man. Just kill the party, seriously. And this is a game right here. This pivotal to try to get back on track, so why not start here with the Chiefs? Yeah.
I was looking at Teja's bets and my bets. We have, I think, only one crossover this week, so that's interesting. I thought there was gonna be more crossovers in today's bets, but yeah, I'll take the one. So more information for everybody else who's watching and listening. I'm gonna go over the results from last week. So Teja Teja's gets that four or five every week, it seems. Everything hit besides Madison's 3+ receptions. So I hope you took the other ones, Teja, and I hope you won something last week on those bets.
I did. I won a lot of parlays on that game.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, I ended up doing like Osborne. I ended up throwing a bunch of other ones in there too and getting a couple different ones spread out. Yeah, but Madison killed me, and I went greedy and went Mahomes 3 touchdowns in one of them.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah, and I had a pretty rough week, 2 of 5. The only ones that hit were Hockenson 50+ yards receiving and Cousins over 26.5 completions. The over-under by 2 points did not get. Cousins, there was a couple times Mike Edwards almost had an interception on him, didn't get that one. And then Mahomes, I was talking about his rushing, calling him Patrick Mavic all week, and he didn't rush at all on Sunday. Yeah, that was rough. But,
he had to get back into the mode of really taking the ball down a little bit and taking what the defense gave him, really. So I'm glad he did that. I'm sorry that he lost on the bet.
That's okay.
I said Cousins. I knew it. I was just like, man, this guy, he's not going to throw an interception against us. We haven't been really good at taking away the ball. Sure enough, we don't get one. We don't get one.
Mike Edwards, he almost had that pick, which is interesting that because Edwards is not getting 100% of the snaps on defense, but he's the only one who has an interception on defense, and then he almost had another one coming in there. I mean, the guy's just kind of a ball hawk. That was one of his things that came out of Tampa Bay was he ball hawk.
Right. Yeah, like 8 interceptions or something, did he? But it was like crazy. He had a crazy amount. I'm not sure how many it was, but I know he had a lot, and he's always been that guy. So
I think he's been probably of all the acquisitions we had this offseason. Obviously, we haven't seen Menahu yet, but I think he's probably the most underrated. Everyone's talking about Drew Tranquil, but no one's talking enough about Mike Edwards.
Yeah, I know.
But so as we said, we're playing the Broncos this week. It's the first time Mahomes is playing the last ranked scoring defense in his career, which is pretty wild. And which I was kind of surprised that I saw one specific bet on Teja's betting ticket this week with playing the worst defense in the league as far as scoring wise. But we're going to go right into it with Teja's week 6 picks. Teja, take it away, my man.
You're right, JD. He has 8 career interceptions. Nice job. Mike Edwards. Yeah.
JD does his stuff, baby.
He's on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go. I'll just say them first and then go into each one. So Pacheco, 15 plus carries. Wilson, 31 plus pass attempts. Rice, 2 plus receptions. Sutton, 3 plus receptions. And the total under 51.5. So Pacheco, 15 plus carries. So he's had 15 carries plus carries in the last 3 games. He's done it in games where he's struggling, 3.4 against Minnesota, and he's done it in games where he's dominating, 5.8 against the Jets. So although I think the Broncos might give us a scare at some point in the game, I think we'll be up enough throughout it for him to really get work done. Combine that with some bad weather, which is going to be a very, very big theme amongst my bets. I've heard it could go up anywhere up to 25 mile per hour winds with 38 mile per hour gusts and 50% chance of rain. So factor that into some of your props if you can. 31 plus pass attempts for Wilson. So Russ has done this in every single game except for one. Guess who that is against? Bears. That's right. That Bears always throw off everyone's like stat patterns. By the way, it's hilarious. I think the game script will be a little different against the Chiefs, obviously, than they will against the Bears. Although there are heavy winds, this is the one I don't think will be too affected by it because I just think he's going to have to throw at some point when they're down by 2 or 3 scores. I just think he'll go more short game to move the chains and keep us off the field. Rice, 2 plus receptions. So he's caught at least 2 balls in every game this season. He's averaging 5 targets a game. In a game where wind and weather are going to be a factor, I ultimately think we go short game for most of it. Get it in the hands of our yak receivers and let them do the job. He's one of our best ones at doing that. I think that's pretty easy there. Sutton, 3 plus receptions. It's probably the one I'm the most iffy on. Even though he's caught 3 balls in every game except for the Jets game last week, he's averaging 6 targets a game. I think, again, short game will be the theme of the game. I think Russ goes to his biggest bodied receiver. I think he goes to him to move the chains and throughout most of the game. Total 51.5. Obviously, kind of where I'm going with this as far as the weather being a problem. Our totals last year against them were 51 and 62, which are not that encouraging for this bet. But this year we're averaging 25 points a game. Broncos are averaging 24 points a game, equals 49. Add that with the wins being up to 25, gust to 38, 50% chance of wins. I think I see the under hitting. The under has dropped from 51 to 47.5. I just feel more comfortable with the number in the 50s, so I bought a few points there.
Interesting.
I do have one bonus bet I didn't put on there, but in doing all the research.
Oh, bonus, huh?
No bonus bet. Wilson, 10 yards rushing. It's an alt line. The actual line's 20. So Chiefs are giving up 18 rushing yards a game to quarterbacks. Russ is averaging almost 24 rushing yards a game. With all the heavy wind and the rain, I just think he's going to have to do what he's got to do to move the chains whenever he can. So that's 25 to win 135 for the 5 bets. I didn't do one with the bonus bet because you could just maybe if you like some of the bets, not all of them, take one of them out, put the Russ one in there.
Yeah, and here's the full screen for everybody if you couldn't see the small little graphic. There it is. All right, now we're going to get down to the brass tacks here. What does JD think?
Oh, man. Bet? So, looking at these bets, man, everything looks pretty good. The Pacheco 15-plus rushing attempts, I really do believe that. Going against the worst rushing defense in the league just makes sense. Every other team has really killed him in the rushing game. Pacheco's just been eaten. He has. And I think you just keep giving him and keep feeding him. He just gets better and better the more you give him the football. And so I don't think it's going to be any different than any other team has played them. But I think running the football is going to be our strong suit, and especially if you said that the conditions are going to be what they are. And the same thing, I've seen where it's going to be maybe kind of dry, maybe wet. It's Kansas City weather, so you don't really know what's going to come in. Heck, before you know it, it's snowing. I mean, it's just how it is out there in Kansas City. You just never know. It's flurries. But I definitely believe the first one right there, Pacheco, 15-plus rushing attempts, is an easy one to go with. I definitely love that one. Wilson, 31 plus attempts. I could definitely see that. They're going to be playing from behind. They're going to be throwing the football all around the field. And I think it's going to be a little bit more kind of dink and ducks to try to get the ball out to the backs. And so 31 attempts definitely seems doable. I think we do a good job of stopping the run. Our passing defense, I'm just kind of looking at it just for the past few games. We're like in the middle of the road with everything right now. So I think that's probably going to be their strong suit is try to challenge our linebackers. Bolton's just now getting back. Going to the tight end, we know sometimes the matchup for them is always somewhere in the middle. And then they're going to challenge their corners. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to run man. So why not try to challenge Sutherland and Judy on the outside? So I do think he's going to be throwing the football all around the field. And that Sean Payton, man, I know him enough to know he loves throwing the football. I know that. Now, number 3, Rice, 2+ catches. All right. Listen, I was sitting over here and I was just doing some tweeting this morning. I was just sitting there just thinking, me as a rookie, and I started my rookie year, okay? Rashid Rice has got to the point where he's done enough that I believe we can trust him to start, to get more action. He has been producing every opportunity he's been getting. Let's forget about the drops, right? We've made a decision. What we want to do with the drops is throw one on the sideline, let him drop it, then put him in the game. Okay, that's what you do. Okay, get the drops out his head, put him in the game. Definitely 2+ catches, without a doubt. I mean, I'm thinking at this moment, Patrick loves what he's throwing to. He loves that he's a big target. He's making things happen. Rashid Rice definitely going to get more than 2+ catches in this game. That's a great bet. Great bet. And also, too, we had to think Trav may play, he may not play. So it's still kind of up in the air on that thing, right? And so I think your contingency plan is play a bigger receiver, whether it be Rashid Rice or Justin Ross. So hopefully Justin Ross gets out there, gets some more too. But he's not in the bet, so we won't even worry about that right now.
JD, I had you said you brought up Justin Ross because we're a pro Ross and pro Rice channel, but we're a pro Ross channel, and obviously this offseason you had a mixed bag of some pro Ross channels and some anti Justin Ross channels. But there's this one guy, one of our fans, what's his name here, Sapphire Modern. This is like the second time he's brought this up. Like, actually, he's bringing this up a lot. But he said, I think the team's going to hold him back this season, and he's going to walk. He's going to ask to leave this offseason. It's like he's Justin Ross. I was like, he's an undrafted guy. No one's asking to leave. Like that's not how things work.
He's in the NFL. Being in the NFL is a privilege. Believe me, he doesn't have the power to say, like, I just want to get up and walk. Doesn't work that way. Does not work that way whatsoever. So I don't know.
It's not the NBA where you just ask out and they can just.
Especially, what better opportunity will you get other than like the Chiefs with Mahomes, with MVS probably being gone in the offseason, with a bunch of young receivers who haven't really established themselves. This is the place to be.
Right. Well, okay. Well, I'm just going to take my bag. Really? Leave? Bye. See you later. You're still trying to clear him medically, right? And we took the chance on him to do that. Why did teams pass on him? Why is he undrafted free agent? Because of the concerns. Yeah. I don't even want to get into that. I'm going to leave that part alone. Right?
Well, I want to comment on something you said about the Rice thing with Kelsey. Do you think maybe with the bad weather conditions, it's more of a reason to hold him out?
We talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, it is a possibility, because, it could become slippery if it is wet. That is something that you definitely have to worry about. Yeah. I just, what I hate? Because sometimes when teams know a guy's hurting in certain places, then they'll tackle in those places, make sure they'll wrap him up, twist his ankle. I mean, it's the dirty parts of football. Not all guys, but some guys, that's how some guys play. I'm not saying that's what the Broncos do. I'm just saying some guys think about things like that, right?
Yeah.
Certain Broncos players, I'm sure, did that kind of stuff back in the day, JD.
Yeah. I can name some names, but I'm not going to. I'm leaving it alone. It's on a different show. All right? Had some really good battles with some guys back then. It's crazy. But going back to it, so Sutton, 3+ catches. Okay. I definitely believe something is kind of being Russell Wilson's guy. And, he had that one where he had like a couple of fumbles. I guess was it get Miami where they were still trying to get in the game and he was trying to make plays and he was fumbling the football. But I think and we talked about trade possibilities. So if you're trying to get a guy out there and get traded, why not throw the football to him a little bit, right? Try to get him in like, hey, man, look, we got a guy to give some balls and stuff like that. Make him a little bit more delectable for people to, try to go to, right?
Yeah.
So I think they'll definitely try to get him the ball. And I think they want to court him more, no pun intended.
I knew it. Maybe not, but it was really good.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Jerry Judy, I just thought about Mike, okay, but seriously, I think so. So I think, definitely 3+ catches. I think he'll try to put on the show, no doubt tonight. The total points under 51.5. So my line, I have the score was going to be 31-14. So they definitely under the 51.5. Okay. I don't see getting more than 17 points. I was going to put the 31-17, but I really don't like the 17 points, man. I just think that our defense is going to go in and just try to destroy what they have, and just keep a losing team losing. That's what you do. That's always the mantra. Like, you got to keep a losing team losing. Don't give them any type of hope. Don't let them get back in the game. Put your foot on their neck as soon as they come into the stadium. That's what you do, right? So, Teja, man, I like it, every single one of these things. And I actually like the bonus bet, to be honest with you. You said 10 yards with Russell Wilson?
So the actual line's 20. I can buy it down to 10, which is like, dude, 10, that should happen in the first half.
Yeah. I think, maybe because the game is kind of a desperation game, I do believe that, he'll run for probably 20 yards. Do the little pump fakes and, 5 here, 8 here. Before you know, he'll have 20 yards under his belt, right? So I think he's trying to do everything to keep himself in the game. I do like the bonus bet, but these bets by itself, 25 to win 135, I like each and every one of them. I do.
Awesome. Yeah. And my total, I have 31-20. So that's why I'm like right on 51.5.
Okay.
Yeah. And talk about desperation. Both games last year, especially the first time we played Russ, that was the game we went up really big early and they came back, and Russ looked like desperate Russ in that game. And he was running a lot in that game too. Remember that was the one where he like dove for the end zone. He got nailed on that rushing touchdown.
Yeah. Is that the one where his like helmet was turned or something?
I believe so.
Yeah.
He got nailed on, but he laid it all out there for that touchdown.
Yeah, dude.
I think that was one of his best games of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk about numbers wise, I think he's a top 10 fantasy quarterback this year.
Yeah. He's actually playing numbers wise pretty well.
It's just their defense. This is not matching up to what it was last year. All right, and that was 25 to win $135.
Yeah, so not a lot because I took some alt lines, but lower risk, lower money.
Yeah, there's a reason why every week my number is higher than Teja's and I'm hitting less than Teja.
No, seriously though, there is. Yeah,
Vegas knows. All right, so here we go for my week 6 picks here. Okay, so my first one, I have Isaiah Pacheco having 70+ rushing yards. He's only done that 2 times this year. So 100 plus one game, then 70 exactly. But Broncos have allowed that to a starting running back of 4 out of the 5 running backs they've faced this year. So Brian Robinson, 87 yards rushing, A-Chain at 203 yards, and Mostert at 82 yards in that game. Khalil Herbert had 103 yards, and then Breece Hall had 177 yards. The only running back that did not get that was week 1. And if you guys listen to the Chief Concerns show, you guys know week 1's kind of a throwaway game. You kind of really can't really add that into a lot of trends and stuff. That was Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs had 19 carries for 49 yards week 1. So outside of week 1, every running back has hit 70+ yards rushing against the Denver Broncos. And with the weather being the way it is, I think they're going to run the ball a lot. You could also even have fun with that and take Pacheco to have 100 yards rushing, and I think that pays out like plus like 210 or something ridiculous. But yeah, I think 70 is a really good safe bet here, even though he's only done it twice this year. But that ties us into our next one. So our next one, Teja had 15 carries, right, Teja? 15+ carries.
Yeah.
So I can't alt line that on the app that I use, but the rushing attempts I have is 16.5 for Isaiah Pacheco, which again we're talking about. It's going to rain tonight. With 25 miles per hour plus winds. Pacheco's only done 16.5 once, only gone over a 16.5 rushing attempts once this year. But Broncos have allowed every starting running back they've played to allow more than 16.5 rush carries. So Josh Jacobs had 19 carries. Brian Robinson had 18 carries. Breece Hall had 22 carries. Khalil Herbert had 18 carries. A-Chain had 18 carries. So every running back has gone over 16.5 rushing attempts. I think Pacheco is going to be in that as well, which will also bode well for the rushing yards, because if he's getting more than 16.5 carries, you definitely have more than 70 yards rushing. So I think that all ties together. So 4 out of the 5 running backs have gotten over 70 rushing yards, and every running back that they've played against has had over 16.5 carries. So I think that's golden. I think that's a golden ticket right there, just those two alone. If you don't even want to do the 5 bets, stop at those 2 and just call it a day.
Only thing I'd be scared about with that would be if we kill them too much, they're going to do what they did against the Bears, and you'll have CH with 15 carries and Pacheco with 15 carries.
Yeah. But
that's it, though. That's all you have to worry about.
I will say, with the weather being a factor, it's going to be tough to blow at anybody in a rain game like that. Yeah, because that all ties together the game script. At least I think. So now we're going to a third bet. So I have Travis Kelce. So that's the thing too. If Kelce doesn't end up playing, guys, if you do have Kelce in a bet, as long as he doesn't play in the game, he's going to be null, and his bets will you won't lose if Travis Kelce doesn't play. So I think with the way Denver's played against tight ends this year, I think Kelce, in a game where it's going to be windy, it's going to be raining, you got the quick passes like they were doing in the second half in that Minnesota game. I think Kelce has 50 plus yards receiving. He's done that in the 4 games he's played. He's done that 3 times, getting 60 yards. So you could probably go 60 yards receiving, but 50 just to be safe. In Minnesota, he had 67. Jets, he had 60. Chicago, he had 69 yards receiving. Broncos have allowed that. So a lot of teams they've played, they don't really have like a bona fide like tight end one. But looking collectively against the Commanders, the Commanders tight ends had a combined 7 catches for 89 yards. Cole Kmet had 7 for 85 by himself. Jets had combined 7 for 81. Conklin had 67 yards by himself, receiving wise. And then Raiders and Dolphins, Austin Hooper had like 1 catch for 20 yards. But I mean, take away that week 1 game of the Dolphins game, which I think Dolphins just didn't throw the ball that much to their tight ends, because they ran it 100 times with their 2 running backs. They had like 300 yards combined with those 2. So they didn't really need to throw the tight ends. But yeah, between Commanders, Jets, and Bears, all of them had 80 plus yards receiving from their tight end. So I think 50 yards alone receiving from Kelce, I think that's a sweet bet as long as he plays. Now this is the one where I'm kind of hesitant on, but I like it nonetheless. 6.5 catches for Travis Kelce. I think he has over 6.5 catches this week. If he plays, I think what we said, it's gonna be short little catches to him, kind of like what happened in the second half of that game. 3 of the 5 games, the Broncos have allowed the tight ends to have more than 6.5 catches. Again, going back to the Cole Kmet 7 by himself, Jets combined for 7 catches from their tight ends, and then the Commanders combined for 7 catches from their tight ends. The only 2 that didn't, again, with the yards, was the Raiders and the Dolphins. They didn't allow their tight ends to have more than 6.5 catches. So the 3 out of the 5, they've done that. And Kelce has done that for 2 of 4 games. Kelce's eclipsed 6.5 catches. So you're kind of taking a chance there that maybe Taylor Swift's in the building. They're going to want to get him the ball more, especially with the rain and the winds. Maybe get him the quick screens. Maybe just get him the ball in his hands quick. That's the one I'm kind of hesitant on. But then my last one, I have the Chiefs going over 29.5 points for the game tonight. If you look at their games, the Broncos have allowed their opponents to score more than 29.5 points a game. 3 of the 5 games. The 2 games that did not was week 1 against the Raiders. You can throw that out the window, 17 points. But then Bears came so close, 28 points. But every other game has gone over 29.5. Jets scored 31. It's an offense that no one thought could score more than 20 points. They scored 31 last week. Dolphins, 70. Commanders, 33. So, yeah, overall, I think 29.5 should be pretty easily. I think if you ask anybody what they think the score is going to be tonight, I think everyone's saying, I've seen stuff at 31. Most numbers I've heard of seeing is 31 to 35 points for us to score tonight. That should be easy peasy over 29.5. But yeah, and the only thing is, it scares me. We've only done that once this year. It was against the Bears. That's the only time we've scored over 29.5 points. So I will say this. If you want to be smart about my bets, the first 3 I think are locks. The last 2, that's what you're kind of taking a risk with. But I think the first three I think are locks tonight. But yeah, so you do that bet. That's 25 to win $208.75. JD, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Okay. Woo. I'm looking at these things, man. And I'm just like, I don't know. Listen, I'll tell you what. I do like the Pacheco 70 plus rushing yards. Because, like I said, they've been killing the Broncos defense running the football. And so I don't think it's going to be anything crazy to think that Pacheco's going to have over 70 plus rushing yards. The only thing that you like Teja brought up is Jet and CH going to be included in some of those carries, right? That's the thing about it, because we do have running back by committee. We try to give Pacheco sometime, a little bit of a change of pace for defense to kind of see, somebody else different, right? So, but I do believe if he's going hard and he's doing what he's doing, like he has been doing, I definitely believe he's going to have 70 plus rushing yards. Okay. So I do like that bet. Pacheco with the 16.5 rushing attempts. That's another thing. Okay. And this is kind of you getting in the realm of, we like 17, but can we get Jet and CEH, a couple of these carries, a couple of these totes? Possibly. But like I said, if he's going and he's doing his whole little, his little getting at it and, doing his little thing with his hair and whatnot, and he's moving, man, and he's doing his little do. 16.5 rushing attempts is not bad for me. I think you feed that guy because it's necessary to feed a guy like this early and him have success because he's just going to be better for you throughout the entire season, right? And you want him to get used to it. Matter of fact, it's almost like you're trying to find a guy so you don't have to be a running back by committee team. That's how I look at it, right? If you do have your bell cow, a guy that can tote the ball, who's not going to get hurt, and then you do have your change of pace, maybe being Jet as opposed to CEH, then yeah, that makes sense, right? It makes sense. So I do like to see 16.5 rushing attempts. And we talked about the weather, right? We know we're going to try to keep it on the ground because if the weather is what everybody says it's going to be, then that makes sense to me.
Sorry, real fast, since you brought up McKinnon, I just looked this up. I was looking at the game logs for Denver versus the Chiefs last year. Yeah. McKinnon had, against the Broncos, 12 catches on 15 targets for 174 yards and 4 TDs last year.
Yeah. He tore him up last year as far as receiving the ball.
Yeah, so he's like a Bronco receiving killer.
His usage, though, has not been the same as it was last year. Because remember, there was no CEH last year.
True.
Yeah, but look, even the media brought it up. Like, what are they waiting for you for the playoffs? He's like, I don't know. Maybe it's the Broncos game they're waiting for. Maybe this is the one. I get on the horse a little bit. But at some point, I know he's a little frustrated. He don't want to say it because he's a hell of a team player. Okay? Love everything about McKinnon. But even the best team players still don't want to be forgotten.
Yeah.
They don't. And he knows he can help the team out. So why not get him a little juice too? He sees Pacheco getting it. Let me get a little bit of that. I want a little bit of that shine as well. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's a great point, Teja. It's a great point. Now with Kelsey, we get into the whole Kelsey thing. All right. This is the whole question mark for me. Okay. I personally, I believe Kelsey may dress, but I don't think he'll have the amount of snaps that he usually takes. I think part of it is just a psychological effect that it will have on the team against the Broncos and for the Chiefs, his teammates. So I do believe it's going to be somewhat of a dress rehearsal for Kelsey. All right. So the 50-plus receiving yards is a question. I just know I would try to manage that as a coach, how many opportunities he will be out there to play. Okay. Especially bringing up the field conditions, saying like, look, it's going to be a wet field. Look, he's got a bad ankle. He's had a bad knee. Why put this guy in harm's way? We don't need to. Now, look, we need to get a first down. Okay. Need for you to just trot out there for a couple of plays. Absolutely. Like, yeah, 3rd and 5 or 6, put Kelsey out there. Let him get 8. Let him do his thing, right? Let him find the window. I agree with that. But the 50-plus receiving yards is a question to me, Marcus. It's just a question to me. Okay, yeah. Say that. All right. Not really a bad bet. Taylor Swift is in the house, and the Swifties are, gearing him up, right? And they cheering him on, and he decides to come out there and give it the old, college try, right? That's what we're looking for. Okay, he's out there pulling his leg and cheering and doing the whole first down thing. Then I think the 50+ receiving yards. It's all predicated off how much he's playing.
Yep.
The 6.5 catches. That is the question to me. I don't think he'll get that. I don't. Just for the simple fact that it's time for the young guys to eat a little bit. And I think Noah Gray comes in and probably takes some of the catches away. And like I said, Travis, if he comes in, he'll probably get, I put these numbers in. I said 4 for probably 47. So he might not get the 50, but I think maybe 4 for like 47 is where he's more at. So I think that's kind of a bad bet. I don't really like that one.
Mm-hmm.
So last year he had 7 for 40 in one, and then 4 for 70 in the other.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
1 for 2.
So it's like, which one do you go toward on that one?
Well, down the factors is he's partially hurt. Okay. We'll be on bad field. Can we do without him? I think we can. But like I said, I think his presence alone, it does a lot for the team and the morale. But I don't think you just put him out there as much as he's usually used to. So we go to the last one, man. Chiefs over 29.5 points. Now, I do believe we do get this. I do believe we'll definitely have that bet covered. I'm thinking maybe 3 rushing touchdowns and maybe 2 passing is what I'm seeing. I'm looking for them to get 31 points, and I think they'll definitely get over the 29.5. So that is a good bet to me. I think, on the ground is going to be the way, but also, too, that play action. It opened up play action. And so end zone, red zone, 5 and more, we'd throw a little out to the flat or something quick to Rashid Rice. He's been very good at doing that, just bodying up in the middle. That quick little slant route, been money. It's been money. He's gotten away with it. I don't see why teams don't understand. Like, hey, man, he's going to run a slant on you. Okay? Be killing on this. So I do believe we'll cover that 29.5. So I do like that one, Marcus, on that bet as well. So looking at both of the bets this week, okay, Teja's week. Pacheco 15+ rushing attempts. Yes. Wilson 31. Yes. Rice 2+ catches. Correct. Set 3+. Yes. Total points on a 51.5. Yes. I do like this bet 25 to 135 to win 135. I do like that. Marcus, I love yours. The only one I don't like about yours, it's a Kelsey over 6.5 catches. Question about the 50-point receiving yards because we don't know how much he's going to play. Even if he is going to play at all, right? But I think this week's winner is Teja's betting on this one. That's Teja.
Yeah, I do agree with you. No, I do. I think Teja is, again, the safer bet here. I like it. It's like a good cop, bad cop kind of thing we have here, Teja. You're like the safe bet guy, and I'm like, you want to risk it a little bit? Let's go with me a little bit on that one.
Yeah, Marcus likes walking on the edge a little bit. I love it. Okay.
So some more nuggets while you're doing that. I was deep diving. Bronco receptions from running backs. They had 14 in 2 games against us.
Wow.
So that's a lot. Pacheco 2 catches in 1 game, 3 in the other. So both teams leaned a lot on their running backs catching the ball, which I thought was really interesting. So, and Broncos have a lot of guys that catch balls. I don't know how they're going to do it this week as McLaughlin's been tearing it up. But now that Javonte's back, I don't know how they're going to split up that stuff.
I got to say, McLaughlin reminds me of like when we first started to bring out Charles back in the day, like when we first started like getting him like acclimated to the offense, like that 1 year, I think we went that like for 2-14. It was the Thigpen's initial year. When they started to get Charles involved in the passing game more. I mean, he just he's so quick. McLaughlin's really fun to watch. That's a guy I could see Payton saying, you know what, we're going to rebuild this thing, and I want to build it. I want to have that guy as one of my central pieces because he's really fun to watch. I could easily see him get 2+ catches tonight.
Problem is the first game with 3 running backs they want to get touches to. Every other game we've seen 2 because they weren't really making it a high effort to get McLaughlin the ball when they had P. Ryan, Javonte, and him together. So this is the first game that they have all 3 of them. They're going to try to get an effort to get in the ball. So as a Javonte Williams and McLaughlin and P. Ryan fantasy owner, I don't like starting any of them this week because I just don't know what the hell they're going to do. I feel like they might give P. Ryan more of the third downs, at least to give him. I think actually P. Ryan's got the most solidified role of all 3 guys because they know what they got him for. We want you for third downs and catching the ball as a safety blanket. That's what you are. That's what you're going to be if Javonte Williams is out. That's going to be if he's healthy. So I think if anything, and they don't even have his receptions listed, at least in Bovada. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with it going forward. I think it's good telltale for what the hell's going to happen going forward.
He's their like McKinnon based on like his role, having like a role carved out. He's like their jet.
Yeah.
Every team covers a guy like this, and what he's done against us, right? And I was like, he's a valuable player. It was never Mixon. It was always P. Ryan that was killing him. So
I'm sure they know that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's probably telling like, look at my film last year and the past 2 years, what I've done against these guys. Just watch me. Okay.
They don't even have P. Ryan's stuff listed.
Yeah.
They do list it, though. They give you 2 catches on him. I say take that and run. I think P. Ryan will easily catch 2 balls.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have P. Ryan or McLaughlin on.
Yeah, they only have Javonte.
I'm using.
Really?
Which actually leads me to believe that they want you because the running game. So they're going to take all Javonte bets. I have a feeling some of those are going to be under too. So
what's funny is that they don't have McLaughlin listed rushing or receiving, but he has the 4th highest odds to score a touchdown tonight. So they have Kelsey, Pacheco, Rice, and then McLaughlin's the 4th highest guy, the number 1 highest guy for Denver, which is interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's a hot hand. I mean, Peyton better than we do, but Peyton seems like a hot hand type guy. Like he's hot.
Oh, yeah.
Give him the ball. I don't have to rush Javonte Williams back. He just came back. Why am I going to come back and give him 20 touches in this game? That's ridiculous. So there's just no need to.
Yeah. No.
Is McLaughlin a rookie? Is he Peyton's guy? Because Javonte was not Peyton's guy.
No, not at all.
If McLaughlin's his guy, I could see him being all about this guy. Because, I mean, you watch Denver game like last 2 weeks, he pops off the screen at you. There's certain guys who pop off, and he does.
He's a rookie.
Wow. That's his guy.
Youngstown State, baby.
Ooh.
Yes, sir. Youngstown. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. But you had a guy like Alvin Kamara for a long time, right? It makes sense. It really does.
Yeah.
I think he's a fun guy to watch for sure. And you get him in space and down there, obviously back out the backfield, doing routes like the quickness and stuff. Shoot him, yeah. That's Sean's. That's his MO.
Yeah, there's certain guys like when you watch games and like guys will pop off at you when watching Denver games specifically. I mean, they're not really a team. They've been a fun team to watch by any means. But you watch him play, he's a guy's like, damn, who is that guy?
He can move. He can
sprint.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with I guess they're running and receiving out of the backfield threats.
He's a young McKinnon.
Yeah, that's good. That's good too. He's more built like McKinnon.
He is. Yeah, he's 5'7", 190 almost.
Damn.
So he's got a little more thickness to him.
Yeah, a little girth to that side.
Yeah, he walked around like monument in the block.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, we hope everyone makes money tonight. Whether you're taking my bet, whether you're taking Teja's bet, maybe taking both, maybe taking some of our bets. I hope everyone cashes on this Thursday night so we can have more money to play with when a great college football slate on Saturday, USC, Notre Dame, Oregon, Washington, and then, of course, you got the great Sunday slate with all the NFL games. But we hope everyone cashes, and we hope everyone has a good rest of the weekend.
That's right. All right, fellas.
Enjoy the game.
Take it easy, everybody. Love you, fellas.
Love you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, Subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.